to the entertaining Talkin' Sports.
What is going on, football fans? Back at it with another New York Giants video, and in this video I'm going to talk about pending free agent Markus Golden. Of course, Markus Golden has had a great year for the New York Giants. By all accounts, he wants to be back, and I'll get into all the quotes. And he certainly exceeded expectations by most. Now, going into the year, I really liked Markus Golden. I thought he'd lead the team in sacks as long as he could stay healthy, which is the whole reason why he had to sign a one-year contract to begin with. 1 year, $3.5 million. And I know a lot of Giants fans are probably going to want this guy back. He's had tremendous success. I read an article, actually, I think yesterday, that he has the most sacks at the outside linebacker position for New York Giants since Lawrence Taylor. Now, of course, that's skewed. We've played the 4-3 since LT left the New York Giants and have since gone back to the 3-4. When you play in a 4-3, the defensive ends like Michael Strahan, Jason Pierre-Paul, O.C.U. Minora, Justin Tuck, those are the guys that get the sack. So I don't read too much into that stat. But what is impressive about Markus Golden, he's on pace to be the first Giant to get double-digit sacks since Jason Pierre-Paul in 2015. So that's certainly something that's incredibly impressive. And he's had some ups and downs, yes. When you look at his PFF grade, that's not very impressive. I think it's 58 because of his lack of coverage skills as an outside linebacker, which is exactly why he would not transition into the 4-3. He's not big enough to play up at the line, and his coverage skills lack. So I don't see him coming back if we play in the 4-3. But I wanted to jump into some of his quotes and what he had to say about the New York Giants, which is pretty encouraging as an organization and hopefully for our future going forward. And then we'll discuss a little more about whether or not I think Golden should be back. There's Markus Golden, and here's some of the quotes. Although there have not been any discussions between Golden and the team, Golden told Newsday he would love to be back with Big Blue in 2020. It's been great being here competing, he said. Of course, it's been a down year, but at the end of the day, everybody here has been great people. Everybody is trying to do whatever they can do to win. I know everybody here wants to win. That's a good sign because I want to make sure I'm able to win. And he should want to be able to make sure that he's able to win, right? He's going to be a free agent. I think he's entering his 5th or 6th year in the league, so he's no spring chicken. He knows he's got limited amount of years to try to compete and win a championship. Obviously, he's going to try to get paid, being that he has not made a lot in the NFL yet. He had to sign a 1-year prove-it contract because of his injury history, which needs to be taken into account when the Giants decide whether or not they want to bring this guy back. But in terms of the factors of whether or not we should bring him back, I know a lot of Giants fans are going to want him back because he's produced, and not a lot of guys on this defense this year have. He's been one of the few bright spots in the stat department, being that he has 9 sacks and probably will end up with double digits and get us 10. But the question is, should we bring him back? Well, first thing we got to take into account, why did we bring him here? The reason we brought him here to begin with was James Bettcher. And it seems like most Giant fans are ready to move on from Bettcher. So if we were to depart from Bettcher, that's a big question mark. Do we bring him back? If we stay with the 3-4, we certainly could. If we go to the 4-3, we're not bringing him back. Doesn't fit in the 4-3. It would be a waste of money, and it would not benefit Markus Golden. Markus Golden's skills are, best suited for a 3-4 system. So you'd let him go out and hit the open market. The other thing we got to take into account, if we stay with the 3-4 but move on from Bettcher, is he going to be worth the money that he's probably going to command? You look at Zadarius Smith last year. Zadarius Smith broke it rich. And Zadarius Smith's career high going into this season, and he certainly lived up to his contract with the Packers as he's having a great year, was 8.5. But he hit the open market. He got paid a ton. I don't remember the exact figures, but it was way more than anybody anticipated. And he was of similar age to what Markus Golden's going to be. Now, of course, Zadarius Smith didn't get as many snaps. He played with the Ravens, where he was on a limited snap count. So his sacks may have been more impressive than Golden's 9 or 10 or whatever he's going to have this year. But regardless, nobody expects Smith to get paid what he did. And the Packers were desperate enough to bring in a pass rusher, and they paid him. And that certainly could be the case with Markus Golden. Now, of course, Markus Golden has an injury history. He's had 2 major injuries, so I don't expect him to get paid what Zadarius did. But I expect him to get double-digit figures per year and to get a multi-year contract. And the question is he worth that? The Giants have limited cap space, especially if you bring back Leonard Williams. Are you willing to tie up another $12 to $15 million on a Markus Golden if we stay in the 3-4? And the other main reason we brought him in here was specifically for the Bettcher system. Now, it's not a guarantee we're going to move on from Bettcher. The defense has played better the last 4 weeks, albeit against, not so great competition. But if we move on from Shurmur, which a lot of people think we may be doing, which I'm not fully convinced we're going to, but I'm leaning that way that I think we're going to, I would suspect we're going to move on from the defensive coordinator, even if they like the job Bettcher's done over the last 4 weeks. If you're going to bring in a head coach, he's going to want to bring in his guy. He's not going to want to be told to be, who's going to be the defensive coordinator. And if the major reason we brought in Markus Golden to begin with was for James Bettcher, and James Bettcher's no longer going to be here, does it make sense to give him $12 to $15 million a year on a multi-year contract, being that we brought him in here for that specific system? He's certainly produced in the sack department. The question is he worth bringing back if, it's not the ideal situation for him to be here? We're going to have to wait and see how it all plays out this offseason, but thought it was interesting to talk about, being that Markus Golden came out and said he really wants to be back as a New York Giant. Will the New York Giants want him? As always, if you liked what you watched, please subscribe, drop a comment, maybe give me a little thumbs up. Cheers.